Okay, as I have been reminded, I have been a little bit behind on showing you my bullet journal. So I thought I'd show you how I'm getting on with my bullet journal, how I did with January and what I've done with February. We'll start with our front page doodles. The rest of it's filled in, but I just thought I'd do a couple of the little doodles. So this front page is basically a page where I'm going to be working on just adding a little bit about the month here every month, so by the end of the year hopefully this will be kind of filled in. So the first little section I'm aiming for here is, well, Japanuary was the first month, so I'm trying a little, still dog themed, a little dog based on Japanuary. I've already got the line work sketched in because I'm not amazingly good at drawing. I'm still practicing. And one thing I'll say I'm totally loving about doing the bullet journal, one thing that's working for me, is forcing myself to have to make little sketches every week. I'm really loving that. That's keeping up my creativity, as it were. So if you're not sure about starting a bullet journal, I would just say, just for that alone, it's really worth it. Just to have to make a little sketch every single week, do a little bit something artistic. So there's where Japanuary, a little dog. And so February ended up being the Chinese zodiac, Chinese New Year, but this is a little guy that I've been working on, but you won't get to see him till March probably. But just see if you can guess the breed or even guess the dog, because he's a YouTube dog as well. But like I say, this is something I've been working on, but you won't get to see him till the new year. Till the new year? I've got New Year on my brain. You won't get to see him till the new month. I believe this video should be out sometime in the beginning of March, I hope. I don't think this sketch is going to capture him perfectly, but like I say, we're learning, we're practicing. One thing about this breed I'm trying to capture and failing quite badly here is they're known for their smiles. Let's see if that looks kind of smiley. Okay, so that's my main page working on. That should be a load of dogs by the time I'm finished. Now, one thing I have not been doing well, I've been totally failing at, is my index page. I've not been filling in where everything should go, so I'll have to get onto that. And also here's my craft your career page that I also want to fill in every month with a little bit of something, or every month or so with a bit of something based on what the month's been about, hopefully. So our little Japanuary theme hasn't been filled in yet, so get something here. And a little Japanese girl. And if you didn't see my little Kimmy doll needle felting tutorial, then I'll link that and you can have a little go at creating a doll a little bit like her. But there we go, that's my Japanuary filled in. So I have filled in nothing on my yearly 1x1 diary, and I'm really hating how the glue went on these pages, so that's something I definitely learned. Be careful about what glue you use. Starting to fill in the monthly spreads, just popping in my finance from January and my social media. I've been very bad at filling in videos and animal requests, so I'll have to get on to that. And my winners, I'm hoping this is going to be a helpful spread over the year. So it's putting in 4, well, we'll talk about Etsy here the most, my top 2 listings that had the top number of views in the year and how many in the month and how many views they had, and also my top tags that people have been finding me under, and I've done the same thing on YouTube, so I can look through the year and see what my winners are. then that was just December. So January, which you saw me sketch out, if you haven't already seen the video, check it out. One thing, I was loving this tracker, but the one thing that I did notice was that it was difficult to stay in the lines, so I've coloured in every other line with just a little bit of coloured pencil. Just makes it a little bit easier, and I think it brightens up the whole lot. The other thing that I learnt from this spread was my expense. Well, it really is a profit and loss sheet now, and keeping track of my finances is the one thing that I'm the most happy about for this whole thing, because I tend to leave my finances till the last minute, but if I do it at the end of every month, then everything's together. So I didn't just want my expenses, but I had to add some little extra things here. There's different incomes and there's different costs. Not just what I'm tracking each week is what I'm physically spending that week, but there's other things that come in, like my monthly costs for PayPal when people are buying things on Etsy through PayPal. Well, at the end of the month I can go back in and look at the costs to PayPal, the costs from selling on Etsy, and any other like monthly costs, so they'll go in there. Filling in my video ideas on the monthly spread is working much better than the yearly spread, and my very favourite page of all. This gave me such a lovely day to do this. I should have filled them in one at a time. I'm very bad at word art, something I'll definitely have to work on. But what I loved was through the month, anything, either customers or YouTube people or anything, anybody saying something nice that stuck in my head that I really loved, I just wrote this all down. Some beautiful things, like someone telling me that I made them find the joy in doing SEO, which is amazing. Feeling inspired by you. Compelling delivery, awesome. You're making a difference. The felt dog is amazing, thank you. It's so easy to get stuck in the negative of things, and I just love doing this. You know, through the whole month, one or two people might have said something nasty, and that sticks in your mind, and you forget about all the wonderful things people say. So for anyone, it sounds like hippie nonsense, but for anyone, I would totally, if you're doing a bullet journal, stick in your awesome words or any kind of inspiration, but the nice things that people said about you, especially if you're working in social media or working with the public. Sometimes it's important. So love that spread. And then you saw me fill in my New Year's sheet. Now, one thing I found, it's nice to have each day when I just think I've got something to do, then I just put a dot and fill in what it is that I'm wanting to do, and then once I've done it, I cross it off. Fill in my expenses, as I said here. A little to-do, I can doodle at the beginning of the week the things that I think I need to do, and then when I decide when I'm going to do them, I pop them into the day. And if I decide, for instance, I didn't, now card I will explain in a later video, but I didn't do that yet, so I'm popping that over to another week. So a little arrow says over to another week. Now this little section here is something that I haven't been using as I thought I should, and I will have to get back into it. And basically what I did was, at the beginning of the week, I put dots for every single order that I had to do, and as you can see, I had such a lot. And then when I got them done, but I hadn't photographed them and got the approval of the customer yet, they got a half check through, and then once they were shipped, they got fully crossed out, so I could keep track of what I was doing. But I got a bit lost with this, and the reason I did was, as a new order came in, I was adding a dot onto the end there, so I was getting a bit lost, like, have I added this dot, have I not? So what I think I'm going to start doing, I kind of stopped doing this because I was getting lost. So now that I've caught up a little bit with my orders, what I'm going to start doing is put, at the beginning of the week, put all the dots for the stuff that I still have to do, and half line out any that are in progress, that's fine. But then if I get any new orders during the week, then I'll start a new line for them for new orders. And I can cross off as I go along. I can see at a glance what I've got left to do, and then when the following week comes in, then obviously the orders that I got during that week and the ones that are left from the past week get added together and put onto the first line of the new week. That is my plan. That's what I'm going to try and do. But yes, there's a scary amount of orders I had in January. And then for the rest of the month, just every day making a similar spread. Not quite so pretty, but one thing I was working on doing was trying to do a little sketch on theme every single week. So that's the thing, when I make up my spread for the week, when I sit down on a Sunday and make this spread, do a doodle as well. So I found this kind of really cute bird. Now this, if you can hear this, this is why I don't usually film live, because there's planes going overhead. But anyway, here's a little Chinese Asian type bird I found. Second week in January I decided on a koi carp to colour in. Really fun, just having a go at colouring and using colouring in pencils. I think I'll be using pencils more, I'll show you why later. And it just brightens up the spread. I think my spreads look terrible, so that's something I will be working on. It doesn't have to be pretty, it has to be functional, but yeah, that's not good. In this week I tried the dragon's head from the dragon's head sculpture that I made that week, but as you can see it kind of bled through a little bit. But it's not great, but I learned something trying to colour that in. It adds to the skill. It's not my best drawing ever, but it was kind of fun. And then the last week in January. Now, one thing I hadn't been sure of, because when people are showing their spreads, they never really show this, is what to do most of the time a month finishes before the end of a week. So what I'm doing is I'm just doing that half week in that month, and then the next half week starts in the new month is how I'm doing it. And I tried this wee drawing that we found in the live video of this girl with the fans, and I loved her kind of bun hair and everything. Learned a lot trying to draw it. I think her arms are on at really bizarre angles, but still was great fun. Again, just filling in the expenses. The main ones that are going in here are just simply when I go to the post office, and I will show you in another date how I keep my files and everything. But if I'm filing it physically, if I'm putting the receipts into my file, then I just mark off that I've also filed it as well. Or if it's digital, if it's online, I've got a note of that as well. So February, I was going to do fairies, I was going to do all sorts of fab things, but as I was reminded, it was the Chinese New Year and I got it wrong. It was the year of the pig, so decided to do a kind of Chinese New Year theme, starting with the pig here. I've got my spread again of ticking things off as I do them on a daily basis, so I get an idea of where the most of my work is going. And what we can do even is say, just now, today, we are filming, so I can put a little cross into the film section. I've done a filming, and when I come later to edit it, and then I'll publish it the next day. Things that I have to do during the month, and I've crossed them off as I'm doing them. And I got ahead of myself here and remembered to colour in just the different lines so I can keep everything in line, and I think that just looks a lot better. I expanded my expense form for all the expenses that I have to have. So we have the weeks pulled over from the individual week pages, and then my expenses that I have to get from PayPal, Etsy fees, and I've left another space for other just in case things come in. And then my incomes, what comes in from Etsy, what comes in from AdSense, and what comes in from other places. Total them up, and then the profit. And again, I've got my video ideas, so there's a sneak peek if you're wanting to know what might be coming up, or at least what my ideas are, and my awesome words page, which I'm definitely keeping that. And then here I started on my weeks, and like I say, my little doodle of Chinese New Year characters. So I just love this little monkey. All I've done is I've gone online and searched for clip art and ideas for animals, and I've just given them a wee doodle and coloured them in as I go along. And each day I'm just colouring in the lines to separate them in a different wee colour. That was last week when we made the cat on the Sunday live from the Aldi needle felting kit, so I just thought I'd have a try at drawing him there. He looks a little bit like a strange bear, but he kind of looked like a strange bear on the kit as well. And then this week I went for a wee rabbit for the year of the bunny with these wee little carrot, and colouring in the lines in blue for no reason whatsoever. And the week coming up ahead, what I decided to do different here is I was kind of cramping all the days in, and it seems that Sunday has a lot more space than the weekdays. So I've spread out the weekdays and I've split the weekend into two little boxes as this just gives me a little bit more space, and I worked harder on what I need to do for the week ahead. I've already planned, I've decided what I'm going to be doing for the week ahead, and I decided to make a little year of the tiger. I am super happy with how he turned out. He is cute as anything. I'm happy with him. So that is my week. That is my January and February journal so far. What I'm loving, what I'm hating. I am absolutely loving the little pop of being creative. I am loving keeping all my expenses in one place. I am not necessarily as good at always filling in everything that I need to do, but that's just a learning experience. I'll decide what things that I need to keep and what things that I'm not using, and hopefully I'll adapt and change my journal as I go along. But if you guys have any ideas for things that you think I could add to this, for things that you put in your journal if you journal, just let me know. I'm up for learning, and I'm hoping that across the year I'll see a little bit of improvement in the neatness of my writing, in how pretty I can make all this. Now I've got rulers and stencils and things to make the boxes prettier, but I actually like the kind of rustic lines. Let me know what you think. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. If you like a wee look in my little bullet journal, please let me know, and I'll try and do these on a slightly more regular basis. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.